So half the year has come and gone, and everybody is freaking out, except for me. The passage of time does not do anything to me. It does not freak me out. Not to me. I am not that weak. I am not that weak. Ladies and gentlemen, miscreants, mollifiers, I am the anonymous librarian. You can call me Al, and welcome. Let's do that again. And welcome to the show, to the mid-year Freakout. I'm freaking out. It's horrible. Don't know why everyone's freaking out. It's time. Good. Time's linear. Time is linear. I don't want no flat circles here. I'm not interested in listening to you ranting about a flat circle of time or something like this. Time is linear at the moment. And we are not going to freak out. But we are going to do a mid-year freak out tag because it's kind of a great way to sum up what has gone so far and give like a small taste of what might be coming in the future. Too much talking on it. Let's just do it. There's 13 prompts and I'll give answers for it. I'll be honest, I'd rarely stick to one. Some of them I stuck to one. Some of them I went more than one. Because listen, we're still mulling it over. The definitive lists will come at the end of the year. That's how it works. For now, let's just keep it peaceful and happy. And the first prompt is, what was your favorite or best book so far you read this year? And it's been a great year because I am catching up on a lot of classic stuff that have been darlings for a long time and I've just never gotten to them. But then these two don't fall into that category, and they are the two that are neck and neck for me at which one is my favorite. It is, and one of them, the reason I'm also going to do is one is a little bit recency bias, so I want some more time for it. The book I finished just in June, This River Awakens by Steven Erikson, and then Stuart Clutter's Turning Wheels. Both these books, I will give them credit for leaving me kind of hollow afterwards. Both have great emotional punches. This one has a bit more, but this one is definitely a bit more on the spectacle side as well. Unbelievable. Never for a moment was I sure where the stories were leading in this. And just exceptional. Pick this up. They are unknown. They are hidden gems. They are masterpieces. And both are out of print as far as I know. So you're going to have to do a little digging to actually get them. Fantastic. And yeah, Steven Erikson with this cemented himself as my favorite writer. And Stuart Clutter with this, the second book I've read by him, is quickly starting to say, no, I want to threaten you. I want to threaten Steven as your top writer. Prompt number 2 asks, what is the best sequel I've read this year? And I've read a couple of sequels already. And I went with two. I went with one that's the big, sprawling, epic sequel that just got bigger and better and more bombastic and unbelievable and everything. And then the other one I chose is one that actually went smaller, that kind of works as a compendium to the first book in the series and tells a more intimate and unique story. The first 2 books I gave you was obscure. These 2 are quite the opposite. The first one, and this is the big bombastic one, was of course A Storm of Swords by George R. R. Martin. The third book in A Song of Ice and Fire, which is so big they had to print it in 2 books. Yeah. And then the other one has to be Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. Two legends, the legendary sci-fi, legendary epic fantasy. And the book bombastic, much smaller, more intimate, very unique story. I love Herbert's writing, and I just love the scale and the mass and just the conflagrations of what Martin did here. This is probably my favorite book, but I felt this definitely needed a shout out. This one I might be more impressed with what Martin did here, but this might be a bit closer to my heart. But also, this is just as impressive, but in a very different way. And it's so different, but I had to shout them out both. Just fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. So if everybody thought, no, I'm just gonna put up some obscure stuff. No, well, now we're not obscure anymore, are we? Prompt number three is a 2026 book that's a new release that I'm assuming means it came out in 2026 that I'm still looking forward to reading. And I have here a book that came out late February, early March. It is the second book in a series. It came out the same day as the other book, but I only bought the first book the first time and I've read it, loved it, and I thought, no, I have to get to the second book. What is it? Dawn of the Empress. Book 2 in the Winter Maze series, written by Nerine Dorman and Katriana Ross. A little bit of South African fantasy for you. Epic fantasy. Wonderful. I really enjoyed the first one, Legacies of Obsidian. And the moment I finished that, I immediately bought. Actually, no, I don't think. I wasn't even done with that and I already ordered this one. Look at that beautiful cover art from Daniel Higu. Daniel Higu is like a masterful artist. Isn't that just beautiful? Amazing, right? I am so excited. And it's nice and shorty. I am so excited. I can't wait. We'll probably read this in August. I'm pretty reasonably sure I will pick this up in the month of August. The sooner the better. I'm very excited to continue with this. And I can't wait for whenever more Winter Mage books will come out. When will that be? I have no idea. But I am loving it. Prompt number 4. Let's get it. My most anticipated release that is still to come in 2026. And that can only be one. I'm going to put a second one on for baby. But let's put on the one that definitely is. And that would, when I get it in my hand and boom, it's in my hand, I'm going to start reading it. And that is Legacies of Betrayal by Mr. Steven Erikson. I'm sure I just put it up here, right? Yeah. This is the third book in the Witness trilogy, which is the sequel series to the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. So, which is, of course, all things Malazan is my favorite. That's my favorite world, my favorite series. I love it. Can't wait to read a bit more of it. Just delve into it. Last year, my favorite read of last year was the Witness trilogy's second book, No Life Forsaken. But then I have a second one, and I don't think there's a cover yet for this one available. But yeah, I'll check online, but I don't think so. But also, Mr. Steven Erikson is bringing out 2 books this year. And this is, I believe, a sci-fi book called Of the Apes. It is coming out late in December. Oh, Legacies of Betrayal is coming out, I believe, late October or early October. I think it's early October. Late October, early October, somewhere in October. But then in December, he's bringing out Of the Apes. Now, so far, I have no idea what this is about. It's supposed to be quirky or strange, a unique little book. We don't really know anything about this, but I am excited. I've delved into Steven Erikson's other works outside Malazan, and so far I've enjoyed all of it. There are some I enjoy more than others, but I have definitely enjoyed all of it, and I'm excited for anything Erikson brings up. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. And now let's go into prompt number 5, my least favorite prompt of them all, but okay, my biggest disappointment for the year so far. And this is a bit tough, I feel like, with me. But if I have to put one, it will have to be Crown of Shadows by Stephanie Firth. And it's not that I hate this book at all. This is a debut. This is a debut author. This is a first book, speculative fiction on a young adult. So it also isn't really aimed at me. All I felt like I did really enjoy the story. I thought the story was unique. I thought it could have taken like one extra rewrite maybe just to get some of the more generic dialogue better to make it sound a bit better, and then just the editor to really cut down on some of the unnecessary adverbs that would like felt a little bit clunky. Great and interesting story though. Have some really good characters in here, but yeah, that's like it. I think it's this. I don't want to. I still think this was worth reading, and I there's a good chance I'll pick up whatever Stephanie Firth brings out next. And if she brings out a sequel into this book, well, series of her, I would probably check that out. See, this is the artist I would like to go with and see on a journey how they because they're definitely a good storyteller. Stephanie Firth is definitely a good storyteller, and that's got me interested. Prompt number 6, my biggest surprise so far for the year. I never pick up a book thinking I'm not gonna like it. I knew there was a chance that this book might either really work for me or not, and it didn't just work for me; it worked for me amazingly, and I was surprised how much I love this. Problematic Summer Romance by Ellie Hazelwood. It was just a fun, actually, and truly, I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. Ellie Hazelwood's writing is just fun, quippy, nice, great, enjoyable to read. At the same time, I really did enjoy the characters. I know some characters like these, which made it interesting. And at the same time, yeah, this romance, I legitimately think this is a wonderful romance told in here. And amazing. No, it blew my mind. It sucked me in and I kept reading and kept enjoying it. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Problematic Summer Romance. Ellie Hazelwood. Yeah, I'm getting into my book talk era. From number 7, my favorite new author. Now that's a lot, and even if you look at the books I've already looked at, like Noreen Dolman and Katrina Ross, I really enjoyed them. This was my first Ellie Hazelwood. Oh, I'm dying, Perry. This was my first Ellie Hazelwood for Problematic Summer Romance. Really enjoyed that. And if you wanted to, and if they made this a little bit different, like an author you hate to love or love to hate, or like especially hate to love, but you can't help it, you have to. I would have put on James Joyce here, but nah, okay, it's not James Joyce. This one I couldn't narrow down. This one I feel like I kind of have a four-way tie. A four-way tie if I take anybody that I've read for the first time here. One of them we've already introduced, Frank Herbert, which is the only one of my new favorite authors apparently that I have on this list that I've read more than one of, and that's just because I've read 2 of the Dune books. Frank Herbert's just the way that we created this world and the way he uses words in certain ways. I love it. Now I'm starting to wonder if am I a prose snob? Because the prose in the next 3 books, in these 3 authors were all amazing. And I'll put them in the order that I read them. Susanna Clarke, loved Piranesi. What a unique story. What beautiful way she just constructed this and wrote it, and every word has meaning. And I can't wait to get to Jonathan Strange and Dr. Norrell. Or Mr. Norrell. Mr. Norrell, Dr. Norrell. I can't remember. Then I will also have to give it to John Steinbeck in Canary Row. Beautiful. Beautiful, wonderful. Just the prose, just everything, and the construction of the story. And the amount he puts into this, lovely. And then last, I'll have to give it to Joseph Conrad with Heart of Darkness was the one I read. And from everything I've heard about, the one thing I didn't expect, and beautiful prose, everything, there is definitely a sense of humor in here as well. As dark as the stories, there's a sense of humor in here that Joseph Conrad puts in that I really enjoy and appreciate, and just wonderful. So I have to give a four-way tie. A four-way tie. And I think if the big thing is like if I could read one more book, so by each of them, even like by Frank Herbert, if I can read a third Dune book and then one more book of each of them, then like who's my favorite? Maybe it will come clear. But at this point, it's just too hard to say. I love it. Prompt number 8, my new fictional crush. Now this is interesting. This is the year I went with a comic book. I couldn't. The one that stood out for me was in a comic book, and it is undoubtedly this character, Marco's mom in Saga. There she is, that one. I hope that's good enough with the Hulk there. Or the axe, if you want to call it. There she's in the middle. Ugh. So if this was last year, I would have definitely put up the Alana, which is Marco's wife. And now I'm in this, but I already read the beginning of Saga last year, so I couldn't. But then this year, I really got to know Marco's mom. And so, yeah, I have a crush on his wife and his mom. So I have a crush on Ilana and on her mother-in-law. Listen, it's fictional. So it's even if it's weird, we're gonna go with it, okay? She's awesome, she's a badass. And I just love her. I love her, like she has this heart of gold, but she's still that hard old grandma that will tell you everything, and she will kill somebody for you. She doesn't mind. Anybody threatening her family, you're in some big danger, some big trouble. Prompt number 9, your new favorite character. And I will have to take both characters, the output of 2, and both come from the same book, Turning Wheels by Stuart Clutter, which is also, as you know, competing for my favorite book of the year so far. And I would have to give it to Tante Anna de Jong and Runkels. And if I can explain these characters, in many ways they remind me of what Steven Erikson does in Malazan. Runkels reminds me of Iskeral Pust to some degree. And Tante Anna de Jong maybe a bit more Krappa, maybe a little bit, but if Krappa was an angry old lady, if Krappa was an angry old lady, then that would explain Anna de Jong. Like, what I love about this book is also none of these characters are particularly likable necessarily, or they can be likable, but they can also just do awful stuff all the time. And the ability to write a character that's both funny and poignant, and you really feel invested, and they can seem silly at one point, but also there is a real strength in them, and it's like, and the only one I've ever seen that done it really well before was Steven Erikson, and Stuart Clutter does it in here masterfully, and you really get engaged with these characters. Well, Tante Anna de Jong and Runkels. And what makes Runkels so unique is the first time you start reading him, like, and you notice a book written in first, and like, oh no, this is gonna be, because he's like a witch doctor character, African witch doctor. This is gonna be like maybe like a product of its time, not quite appropriate a bit. But no, Stuart Clutter says he wants you to think that, and then he starts peeling off the layers and making you a show, and like who this character really is, and what a blatant genius he is, and like how he's actually, and that's why I say he does have that Iskeral Pust. Just loved it, enjoyed it. Masterful work by Mr. Stuart Clutter. Then prompt number 10, books that made me cry. Now, I'll say I don't easily shed a lot of tears when reading because I'm too focused on reading. I can't cry and read at the same time. It's hard to do that. But I'll choose the ones that got me in the feelings the most. And there's a few. Certainly Turning Wheels could be on here. Definitely This River Awakens is a top contender for this. But I will end up going with John Steinbeck's Cannery Row. Just the most, and I feel like this book both make me want to cry out of sadness and out of happiness, out of beauty as well, at times. Just what a beautiful portrait of just a place and the humans inhabiting it in that period of time. And just a vivid, beautiful, magical realism with which Steinbeck describes it. It really, it struck a chord. It struck a chord. Then prompt number 11, the opposite of the previous one, books that made me happy. Well, I will say they all made me happy. Even the ones that made me cry, Cannery Row made me happy. But I thought what was just for me a joy to read. I would take a book that's joy to read. This is the one non-fiction I put on this. And it will be Quentin Tarantino's Cinema Speculation. And even though there are definitely dark moments in this, where the stuff he described, there's just a joy in reading Quentin talk about cinema, even when he's critical and when he's when he's very negative about something or he posts, there is a joy to it. There is a sense of life and love in it that you cannot help but be intoxicated by. And gives you this excitement for storytelling and movies and even books, because it goes into books a lot this year as well. Wonderful. Really had fun time. Just smile on my face most of the time while I was reading this. And brilliant written. Well done. No, definitely made me happy. Then prompt number 12. My favorite book, or my most beautiful book, not my favorite book, my most beautiful book I picked up this year, and it's just gorgeous. The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. So the Divine Comedy is Dante's Inferno, Dante's Purgatory, and Dante's Paradise, or Dante's Purgatory, or Dante's Paradiso. Like, just look at it. Page Classics really outdid them with this cover. Look at hell, heaven, looks really beautiful. So far, I've only read, and it was quite a few years ago, I've only read Inferno. I've always wanted to go back to all of them, and I feel like this is like now just let me shoot the spine there. That motive of hell going into heaven, it's just beautiful. And then just amazing illustrations. Look there at the front side. That's beautiful. Look at the rotator. But then the one that really, oh man, look at that. How amazing is that? Awesome. And then just the book is filled with illustrations. It's just awesome. Well, and they put Dante there looking angry and annoyed, I guess. Got their nice images. Look at that. Oh, I hope they display more. They are really good. And they are full, this whole book is full with it. Just amazing, exceptional art. Now, that's just my most prized position in books at the moment. I am so in love with everything they did here. Page Classics, check them out. They're really affordable and they just do an amazing job. Now for the final prompt number 13. What do I still need to read this year? Now, okay, I'm only going to show 2 things here and talk a little bit about that. I made a list of 36 books I still needed to read this. I did this in February, end of February. And I want to do something next week where I go through what I've read, what I still need to read, how is it going so far, what was my feelings on it. But I wanted to at least add some 2. And the 2 series that I am reading and that I do wish or do plan to finish this year, and am strongly. First of all, I have been doing A Song of Ice and Fire. I am currently reading A Feast for Crows. I still want to read in A Dance of Dragons. And I also want to add to that Fire and Blood and A Night of the Seven Kingdoms to round out most of, I know there's like our subsequent stuff and small stuff, but the biggest part of the A Song of Ice and Fire world, or the Game of Thrones world, getting most of that done by the end of the year, and that is my plan. The other series I'm reading is Solo Leveling, and I have finished the first 4 light novels, so now there's 4 more. 5 is the next one I need to read, and then up to number 8, and I'm planning to finish that also before the end of the year. I am having a really great time in this world as well, and I'm going past where the show ended now, and I'm having a good time with that. That's exciting. And that's it. We're done. The mid-year freakout. Oh, did you see me freaking out? I don't know. For the year, it's over. I really enjoy doing this. Just it's a good way to sum up what the year has been so far and look a little bit forward to what is coming. It has been a wild and interesting year, and I mean, if the second 6 months lives up to the first 6 months reading wise, then boom, then I'm without a doubt the greatest year of reading I would have ever experienced. What is your mid-year freak out? Are you one of those that get freaked out very easily? Let me know in the comments down below if you want to. If you don't want to, that's also fine. But I would appreciate something. What has been your favorite read so far of the year? That would be awesome. So leave something there. Leave a comment below. You know what? Why don't you like it? Like the video, subscribe, share with the whole world. Share with the whole world. Force them to watch this video. Force them. Go to them and tell all your friends, if you don't watch this video, I will not be friends. I'll never talk to you again. If you have children, tell them you'll disown them. If they don't watch my videos and like them and comment on them, you will disown them. That's the right thing. But let's move on. Let's finish this off. I am the Anonymous Librarian. You can call me out. You don't have to call me at all. It's up to you. It's up to you. Let's go have some fun. Let's go read. Let's go have enjoyment. I just educated you, and you should appreciate it. Bye. Bye. Bye.